There's an increasing amount of evidence that the New York Yankees will not be wearing a City Connect uniform. The City Connect series, according to Nike, is a baseball uniform program that explores a franchise's connection to its city and its fan base, each with distinct personalities, values, customs, and traditions. It honors the history that binds club, fan, city, and culture. Every MLB team gets a special uniform to add to their current rotation, the design of which is supposedly inspired by elements of the local community. Some of the designs are great, some of them are not, but they're all supposed to be replaced every 3 years. What I think, then, is that this is really a plan by MLB and Nike to sell more merchandise, especially to people who may not be baseball fans but have a lot of civic pride. Baseball jersey design has tended to be fairly static over the years, unless you're the Arizona Diamondbacks. Sometimes a team will make minor alterations to its uniforms, but major redesigns are generally few and far between, unless you're the Arizona Diamondbacks, which means that most fans aren't tempted to buy new jerseys every year to stay current with the team's look. MLB saw what Nike was doing with the NBA, with teams getting a new City Edition jersey every year, and said, I want some of that. But maybe don't replace them so quickly because baseball fans tend to be more traditional. Thus, City Connect. So Yankees owner Hal Steinbrenner said on the Michael Kay Show in 2023 that he's not having any serious conversations about doing it. It doesn't mean I won't someday, but I don't even know how that would look, quite frankly. I don't even know what the look would be. Recently, Chris Wilde, a contributor to the website Uniwatch, said he spoke with an MLB Shop staffer who said that the Yankees are not going to do one. You don't mess with the pinstripes. And Reddit user electrical_damage199 said on the Dodgers subreddit that the Yankees refused to adopt the City Connect program by not submitting designs of their own and not accepting designs that Nike created for them. Instead, the Dodgers would be the first team to debut a second City Connect uniform a year earlier than initially planned, which was confirmed by MLB on February 13th. Obviously, these last two statements are hearsay and should be taken with a grain of salt. Teams can imply one thing publicly while really working behind the scenes to get another thing done. But, if true, all of these statements point in the same general direction. The Yankees do not intend to participate in the City Connect program. But why are they seemingly so adamant about this? The Yankees are a club that places a very heavy emphasis and weight on tradition as part of its brand. Since they became the Yankees, the uniforms have changed very little. So little, in fact, that they have been wearing the same basic home uniform continuously since 1936, when the famous interlocking NY was re-added to the iconic pinstripes for the first time since it was removed in 1917. The jersey has been updated slightly several times over the years, generally when there has been a major change in manufacturing processes and materials. This is a replica of Phil Rizzuto's 1956 jersey, and this is an authentic 2014 Derek Jeter jersey. The two jerseys differ in material, sleeve construction, number typeface, and interlocking NY design, but the basic jersey design is still the same between both. The away uniform has been around for even longer, since 1918. It's of a design that was extremely common at the time. Plain gray with the city name, New York, in this case, in block letters arched across the chest, with the exception of 1927 through 1930, when it was replaced by the word Yankees. This jersey received a slight update in 1973 with the switch to polyester double knit from wool, with white sleeve trim and piping around the letters and numbers added. These updates are being reversed for 2024, so the Yankees are going back to a look they sported for the better part of the 20th century. Speaking of polyester double knit, the switch to that material from wool allowed teams to be more creative with what they wore on the field. Instead of just a plain white or gray uniform, team colors with loud designs became the norm, and even though baseball jersey design has skewed back towards the traditional within the past 20 years or so, most teams still maintain 1, 2, or even 3 differently colored alternates to go with the traditional white and gray. The Yankees, however, have staunchly refused to entertain the idea of an alternate jersey and have maintained only 2 designs concurrently for over 100 years. Not coincidentally, the Yankees were one of the last 2 teams to switch from wool to double knit and were the very last team to adopt the cool base and flex base fabrics for their game uniforms in the mid-2010s, years after the rest of the league had adopted them. The Yankees also have, until fairly recently, refused to take part in league-wide promotions that involved wearing special uniforms. In 1998, MLB held a Turn Ahead the Clock promotion where they asked teams to imagine what they would be wearing in 2021. The Yankees were one of a few teams that refused to participate, and when asked if he wanted the fans to see what the Yankees would be wearing in 2021, owner George Steinbrenner said, "We're already wearing it." He was right. As part of this emphasis on traditionalism, the Yankees also maintain a beard and hair rule. No facial hair under the lip, and hair length cannot touch the shoulders. Opinions on this rule are divided within the fan base. Those who like it prefer the professional look that it imposes. Those who think it should be scrapped consider it a relic of times gone by and prefer to have players be able to express themselves. This split in opinion on the facial hair policy naturally extends to the issue of the Yankees adopting a City Connect uniform, in which there are 2 schools of thought. The first is that the current uniform set is too plain and boring, and the Yankees should have some fun with their uniforms for once. The Yankees actually have worn throwbacks on 3 separate occasions. In 2012, they wore this gorgeous 1912 away set to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Fenway Park. In 2021, they wore their 1919 away set for the Field of Dreams game, and in 1996, they wore a Negro League New York Black Yankee set for a game at Tiger Stadium. They also took part in the Players' Weekend promotion that was supposed to be a measure of allowing the players to express themselves outside of the rigid confines of a baseball uniform. This resulted in the Yankees wearing something other than the pinstripes at home for the first time, and names, well, nicknames, on the back of the jersey for the first time. In my opinion, the program was well-intentioned, but, at least on the Yankees side of things, was poorly executed. There's also a certain percentage of fans who say that the Yankees have defiled the pinstripes already by allowing Nike to place its logo on the front of the jersey and by selling an advertisement patch on the sleeve. No logo other than the MLB Batterman logo or the interlocking NY had ever appeared on the outside of the jersey, but that all changed in 2020 when Nike took over the uniform contract from Majestic Athletic. To these fans, it's clear that the Yankees organization doesn't care as much for the sanctity of the pinstripes as they did before, so they might as well go all the way and wear a City Connect uniform. The flip side of the coin is the set of fans that still believe that the Yankees need to maintain tradition and not wear anything other than the pinstripes at home. The pinstripes, to them, are still sacred, and the Yankees wearing anything other than the primary 2 uniform sets is a travesty. The Players' Weekend uniforms are terrible to them, especially the all-black number they wore on a trip to Dodger Stadium in 2019. By contrast, the throwback uniforms they've worn were well-done one-offs that honored the club's history and still fit within the identity of the Yankees. To them, the City Connect program is merely a merch dump cash grab, and the Yankees should take no part in it. So what do I think about all of this? Well, I certainly appreciate the tradition and history of the Yankees and their uniforms. The pinstripes are iconic for a reason. Although other teams wear pinstripes too, the first team you think of when you think about how they relate to baseball is the Yankees. They also don't just represent the Yankees. They represent the city of New York all over the world. So in essence, to echo what George Steinbrenner said in 1999, the Yankees are already wearing their City Connect uniforms, in a way. But I do like the fun of a team wearing different uniforms than the usual. The 2012 and 2021 uniforms were really well-done throwbacks that honored team history and were recognizably Yankees, but were also different enough to the normal set that they were unique and interesting. When the 2012 jersey and cap set was released, I like them so much that I bought them right away, and I still wear them every so often. It's cool to see sports teams in a look that they don't normally wear. So I do think the Yankees should eventually take part in the City Connect program, but that jersey should either be a throwback or be instantly recognizable as a Yankees jersey. Nike must avoid the problem they've created with the NBA City Edition uniforms. By releasing a new design every year, there are now so many uniforms to make that they are now scraping the bottom of the creative barrel in order to push out more new shirts, and teams now look completely unrecognizable on the court because their city editions look so far off of their established identities. Enough talk. Let's put on our creative hats and get to thinking about what a potential Yankees City Connect uniform would look like. Now this jersey is 10 years old, but like I've said before, the design of the jersey hasn't changed at all during that time, even if the fabrics have, so I'm going to use it as a stand-in for the current one. Remember I said that the interlocking NY was added back to the uniform in 1936? What do we get, then, if we remove it again and change the typeface of the number on the back to McAuliffe? We get the Murderer's Row Yankees uniform. This was the uniform of Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig, of the introduction of the live ball, of the beginning of baseball as we know it today. This is the most obvious option for City Connect. It honors team history, it honors city history, and it honors the history of the sport as a whole. The Yankees have never worn a throwback uniform at home, so it makes perfect sense for this to be their first, 100 years after the Babe himself wore it. If we push back further into Yankees history, we get to a point where they were called the Highlanders because their original ballpark was located in the High Land of Washington Heights. Now, early Highlanders uniforms tended to be a bit plain, white with an NY word mark split across the chest. Although this is part of Yankees history, it wouldn't necessarily be recognizable as a Yankees uniform, which is one of my requirements for a Yankees City Connect. So for this Highlanders jersey, why not do a faux back? We can combine the NY word mark from the 1908 Highlanders jersey with the modern pinstripes. In this way, we create a uniform that pays tribute to the pre-Yankee years while still keeping it recognizable as a Yankees uniform. And then there's the possibility of a New York Black Yankees throwback. It's so important to keep honoring the legacy of the Negro Leagues, not only because of what black players have done for the sport, but also as a reminder that until 1949, an entire group of people was kept out of baseball solely based on the color of their skin. And although we have taken many great strides since that time, there is still a lot of work to be done to achieve true racial equality. There is one big problem though. The New York Black Yankees didn't really have their own identity, frequently playing in uniforms that resembled the Yankees, or even in hand-me-downs from the Yankees themselves. A new identity would have to be created for them. Perhaps the Yankees and MLB could partner with local black artists and Negro League historians to create this new identity, drawing on influences like the Harlem Renaissance, Art Deco, 1930s New York City, and the Yankees. Seems to me that's what the City Connect thing is supposed to be about anyway. It would be really great to see, sometime in the future, the Yankees and Mets playing each other in a Subway Series as the Black Yankees and the Cubans. Throwback jerseys are all well and good, but what about some more modern options? The Bronx is considered to be the birthplace of hip-hop. To that end, last year the Yankees hosted a massive 50th anniversary of hip-hop concert at the stadium, with the biggest artists like Run DMC, Snoop Dogg, and Nas coming out to celebrate that genre of music's gold anniversary. It seems natural that if the Yankees were to do a straight City Connect jersey in line with the rest of the league, it should be focused on hip-hop and designed in collaboration with local Bronx artists. I don't listen to much hip-hop or rap myself, so I wouldn't know what a Yankees hip-hop inspired jersey would look like, but the New Jersey Red Bulls soccer team wore a hip-hop inspired kit for the second half of the 2023 MLS season, and this is what theirs looked like. A graffiti-inspired theme throughout the jersey. We might also be able to find inspiration from the New York City subway. The subway has been called the lifeblood of the city. It connects every borough except Staten Island and runs 24/7, and millions of people rely on it every day. The Yankees use subway-related imagery pretty heavily in their in-stadium graphics and on the YES Network, and the new Yankee Stadium was even designed with a cutout in the back wall in right field, specifically to allow stadium goers to have a glimpse of the trains rumbling by. And you know that the Mets are eventually going to have a City Connect that honors the 7 Line Army and the 7 Train. We can't let them have a monopoly on the subway theme. Yankee Stadium is reachable by the 4 and D trains, which wind up crossing each other at Yankee Stadium. This is a screenshot of the subway map of the surrounding area. If we just put the interlocking NY on top like so, it kinda sorta fits? So let's color the N 4 train green and the Y D train orange and see how that looks. You know what? We can save this. You see this map and these socks? The MTA has used stripes in the colors of the subway lines as a design element in the past. Why don't we color the pinstripes in the colors of the subway lines? How's this for you? You know what? Why don't we just forget that ever happened and move on to a better idea? Subway tile. There is a current example of a team using subway tiles and mosaics as the basis for a uniform. New York City FC's 2023-24 primary jersey has a subway tile pattern all over it, with a giant NYC monogram in a mosaic pattern on the front. The Yankees can certainly take inspiration from their roommates for a potential City Connect design. Subway tile is most often set in a grid pattern or a brick pattern, so we can use the grout lines as the base pattern on the jersey, but we'll rotate it 90 degrees so that the continuous grout lines go straight up and down the jersey, like pinstripes. Here's a version with most of the horizontal lines removed, turning the tile pattern back into pinstripes. And here's an iteration on that where the tiles are rotated back to their original orientation, so that the tiles form a pillar among the pinstripes, like those found on subway station platforms. Insert some ridiculous Nike marketing speak here about how the pillar represents the modern Yankees held up and supported by their traditions and foundations that were established over 100 years ago. All of this just to say, yes, I do think the Yankees should take part in the City Connect program. What on earth is this? Hey, are these real? Someone put these up for sale on eBay. Okay, look. This is a leak, yeah? So we don't know 100% for sure that these are real. But if they are, the Yankees need to stay the hell away from City Connect because these are just atrocious, unrecognizable, lazy, uninspired designs that belong in an Astros branded trash can. Gee whiz.